Hey guys, I told you I was going to be doing another video soon. So these next few videos, probably just this one and the one after, are going to be more so talking story time videos about, just catching up on some things that I haven't been able to share with you. I did not have time to do a slash review because there was a series of travel excursions I had over the next few weekends to follow. So with that, I do want to share some stories about the two Slash concerts that I got to see. And the second one was actually because I was interviewing the opener Joyous Wolf. So, as you can see from the title, yes, I almost met Slash. I didn't, and I'll get into the entire story as to why. I saw Slash on October 1st, which was the night that I got back from Vegas, which was crazy. So I'm in Montclair, New Jersey with my dad. The show was amazing. They did Beneath the Savage Sun, and they ended the set with Anastasia. My dad was just so happy about it, and I've seen them so many times together, so it was exciting for me, but I was more excited that I was finally getting to go see them with him, because when World on Fire came out, we blasted that on repeat for so long. So we just kind of like bonded over these songs together, and we were finally getting to see Slash together, not with Guns N' Roses, because I did see Guns N' Roses with both my parents back in 2016, but this time in a little tiny intimate venue where Slash is, just a couple feet away up on the stage. It's an entirely different experience. He's the one in the spotlight, whereas with Guns N' Roses, it's mostly Axl and Slash is just a contributor. And now moving on to Joyous Wolf. So I first saw Joyous Wolf back at Louder Than Life in 2017, which was the same weekend that I interviewed Josh Kiska from Greta Van Fleet. And while we were actually waiting for Greta Van Fleet's set, we saw Joyous Wolf, and honestly, we were captivated by them instantly. My friends and I that I was with, we both thought they were really good, and then the singer, we noticed he was doing these really crazy antics on stage, and they just overall had a really good performance. But later found out that they were one of the only unsigned bands on the bill, which is impressive. And they actually ended up doing, I'm pretty sure, almost the entire series of Danny Wimmer festivals in the spring. So I saw them again at Welcome to Rockville and at Rock on the Range. And by that point, they had signed to Roadrunner, which is actually the label that Slash is on and Stone Sour's on and Korn and a lot of the really big hard rock bands in this moment right now are signed to Roadrunner. So it's really good and exciting news for Joyous Wolf. So needless to say, I've been shipping this band for kind of a while now. They only had one song on Spotify, which was their most famous, most well-known song called Mountain Man, and they removed it because over the summer they spent some time at Sunset Sound Studios in Los Angeles and recorded a lot of material. On September 28th, they did release two singles. So Mountain Man is no longer on Spotify because they re-recorded it. And now they have two singles online on iTunes, on Spotify, everywhere. A cover of Mountain's Mississippi Queen and an original song called Slow Hand. I really like Slow Hand. I was actually going to make a first reaction video to the song because I wanted to share it with you guys and kind of get more people to start following them, especially that are following me because I'm shipping this band. I found out that they were going to be opening for Slash, so I ended up actually getting a photo pass and press pass to go to the Slash show that they were opening for, which felt like a huge deal to me. I didn't actually get to shoot Slash that night in that venue. I got to shoot Joyous Wolf and got to see the Slash show, and they played different songs that night, so that was amazing. And I brought my dad once again, but because nobody else wanted to come with me. The whole night overall was a completely different experience, and my dad actually got to come backstage. So after Slash's set, we were taken backstage and I was going to be interviewing Joyous Wolf. So you can find out a lot about their story from this interview. I didn't try to ask too many generic questions. I normally try to avoid doing that. There's a lot of other interviews with them online that you can find and kind of hear about their whole story. I mainly touched upon how they got signed to Roadrunner and sort of just their sound, their takes on modern rock, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They covered Soundgarden's Rusty Cage. You can check that out. That's on YouTube. They played it at Rock Allegiance last year in 2017, and I think they did a pretty good job. The interview's on Alternative Nation, so I recommend going and checking it out. But anyway, getting to the most exciting part of this story was the fact that we were backstage. So, funny story, there was actually another publication, Ghostlight magazine or something like that, that were also wanting to interview Joyous Wolf. And I asked their manager if it was possible for me to go last. And that meant me staying and hanging out at the venue the longest, but we were fucking backstage. And I have never done an interview at a venue like that. I have never been backstage at a venue like that, so very, very, very exciting and cool. As we're waiting outside of Joyous Wolf's changing room, dressing room, whatever you want to call it, I'm with my dad in the hallway, and I see the drummer from Slash's band, Fitzy, come walking up the hall. We, said good set and everything. Then the bass player, Todd Dammit Kearns, came, and he actually reached his hand out and introduced himself to me and my dad. And what I said to him was, I've seen you guys so many times, it's creepy. But he started laughing, so he didn't actually think it was creepy, which is good. And then, even more exciting was when Frank came out. He is the rhythm guitar player for Slash's band, and the reason this is exciting is because we have mutual friends. The guys in Them Evils know him pretty well. No sight of Miles, no sight of Slash, until a little while later, we're just leaning against the wall, waiting for this other publication to finish their interview, and I see somebody at the corner of my eye. Now, I turn down this hall, and I want to say he is like 25 to 30 feet away. But Slash comes out of his dressing room, and I hear him talking to somebody. I recognize his voice. I went limp. My heart started thumping louder than I've ever heard it thump in my entire life, and I kind of just felt numb. And I looked, and he kind of looked, trying to figure out who we were and why the fuck we were just standing in the dressing room. And we had been asked not to wander around, so I was respecting that. And also, I wasn't going to go and bombard him and intrude on his personal space right outside of his dressing room. I did not feel like that was the right thing to do. I did try to call out his name, and all that came out was a whisper scream because everything in my body just wasn't functioning properly. And then Megan Hodges was there, and she walked in and out, and she looked at us and smiled. And it might sound dramatic that I'm saying all these physiological things were happening to my body when I saw him in person, but mind you, this is somebody that I have pretty much worshipped since I was in the 4th and 5th grade. It has been a long time that I have been worshiping him from a distance, seeing him on stage, following him around, going to every show that was within driving distance, even if it meant it was 10 hours, just to see him. To be able to see him in a hallway, in his zone, in this confined space, and see him not on stage, not dressed up, not with a guitar, but just him and his people walking around and acting casual, that was a very, very huge moment for me. I met Steven Adler, he was awesome, and I met Duff McKagan. I really didn't know what to say to Duff, I kind of just said hi. But this is Slash. This is one of 2 main pillars of what made Guns N' Roses who they were. When you hear about dynamic duos, you hear about Page and Plant, you hear about Tyler and Perry, and you hear about Axl and Slash. I mean, they're 2 of the most iconic guitar singer duos in music history, not even just in rock and roll. I just left it, and then I went in and did the interview with Joyous Wolf. I don't have any regrets, because I think if I had gone up to Slash and kind of, was pushy about getting to meet him, then it might have made a bad first impression. At least the next time, if there is one, which I really hope and believe there will be, I can tell him about that night. There's more stuff about Slash and Slash's band that is going to be featured in the next video, which is about Aftershock. So stay tuned for that, and yeah, I'll see you guys soon. I mean, I have to say, I saw Slash 8 days ago. Tonight was my 11th time.
Oh, wow.
I'm a Psycho fan. Between Guns N' Roses and Miles Kennedy, I've seen Slash a ton of times.
Wow.
And the opener last week did not impress the crowd the way that you guys did. So just wanted to point that out.
Lots of good stuff.
That means a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.
We had a blast.
Awesome.